I think people are either motivated by wanting to win or through fear of failure. I'm quite interested to find out from two elite sports people how they were motivated during their careers. So I'm talking to Carl Rimmer and Kai Horstmann, former Exeter Chiefs, who won the Aviva Premiership back in 2017, about how they were motivated during their careers. So Carl, were you motivated by wanting to win or fear of failure?
We've spoken about motivation before, and I do believe it is individual, but I think on those two topics in particular, I actually spent a long part of my career, I think, trying not to fail, and I don't think that was the right way to do it. And I don't think it's the right way for a team to go about trying to take victories either. I think certainly through the younger heart, I was always fixated on what I hadn't done wrong come Monday morning, like, oh, you can't done that, or you can't find that wrong. I definitely did that okay this week. And I think there's a lot of time and energy I wasted. I should have been out there, I feel, trying to do something better, things that I did do wrong. And it's something I struggle with now, actually. Is you can try not to lose, but you can smell that a mile off. When the game's on at the weekend, you can see them trying to win. It, for me, trying to achieve success rather than trying not to fail.
What do you think, Kai?
I always felt, certainly at the Chiefs, that it was the desire to be successful that was driving it. From a personal point of view, I felt they kind of worked in tandem in my career. I felt that I was concerned about failure. In game day, I found I entered this mode, they're just full on desire to win the game, overcame it. I felt that they all were really important factors driving me, that I didn't want to fail. To game day, where just every bit of me, I wanted to drive through to try and win this game. They're both important factors for me. But I do agree with you, Carl, that if your whole motivation is focused around fear of failure, then the danger is it has to start having a detrimental effect on you as an individual and as a collective.
Carl, do you think, though, that as you get older, particularly in sport, and you've experienced things, that you start to think a little bit more about failure because you failed? When you're young, often you feel you can take the world on and fear nothing. Do you think fear of failure becomes more prevalent as you get older?
I think you can become conservative with it. And to sort of tap back into what we said, I do think you need both. There are people out there who are flamboyant characters who will just keep ploughing on, don't care about failing. They'll keep, and I think, yeah, they may find great success, but I do think the fear of the failure part and the fear of trying not to win, I think that's your preparation. I think that's you do everything that you need to do to be able to win. But when it comes down to actually performing and actually doing that, that's when you need that mindset of the winning is the carrot here. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to go out and actually have success. So, yeah, I think Kai mentioned it, that they work sort of together. And I do agree with that as well. But, yeah, the older you get, you can get really, really conservative and you can make bad choices because you're like, well, if I don't do that, I'll be fine. Whereas, in fact, there's probably a chance to say, well, actually, I've done all this stuff up to this point to make sure I'm not going to fail. And now's the time. And I think Chiefs get tagged with this boring line at the moment, the way they play. And I think that's exactly that. I think, yeah, they can be quite boring, but when they give it to the players that aren't boring in a good position, that's exciting stuff, but they just worked hard to get to it, I think.
Yeah, very good. Kai, you've captained Exeter Chiefs teams. You won the Anglo-Welsh Cup. When you were captain, would you want your team to be focusing on winning or focusing on not failing?
Well, I want them focusing on process, really, Tim, and spoke about it so often that it's so easy to get carried away in thought about how things are going to play out. And actually, the direct process right in front of you, you can get that right and you nail it. Everything else is easy because, ultimately you've got a team full of hugely talented individuals. Where you want their mindset is on the action right in front of them. And they get those bits right, and then you stem them all together. Suddenly what you find is a team just doing a lot of right actions, and you ultimately start winning.
You've actually said you're focusing on winning there, I think, Kai. Really interesting there. Focus on doing your processes right, which in effect is winning that second, and you'll be successful. Kai Horstmann, Carl Rimmer, thanks very much.